So, dear Heavenly Father, we come before you now, and as always, I just thank you for this opportunity to come before the people and to share information with them that you need them to hear, Father. I just thank you so much for my guest and for him gracing us with his presence today to share information that the people need to hear, Father. And as we go through this spiritual journey, I ask that you just continue to give us the strength, courage, and endurance to walk the narrow path that you have laid out before us, Father, so that we can bring light back to this ever darkening world. And I just thank you for every moment that you give us in your precious name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So Dr. Shiva, MIT PhD, is the inventor of email, scientist, inventor, entrepreneur, and Fulbright scholar who holds 4 degrees from MIT, including his PhD in biological engineering. He started 7 successful high-tech companies, providing thousands of jobs in Massachusetts. His life has been about solving very tough problems by identifying the root cause, bringing together people to innovate real solutions. Now he wants to serve America beyond the left and the right to deliver solutions we need and deserve. Most importantly, Dr. Shiva is one of us, not another lawyer or lobbyist or politician. And you have shivaforpresident.com, and that's with the number 4. So I'm actually excited to have you. We just had a recent worldwide rally and thousands of people show up, and San Diego's not quite there yet. I feel like they don't really understand the pressures that we have. They're more like going about the day, like not paying attention. I know one point we'll get there and there'll be thousands of people in the street. But I just thank you for what you're doing. I think it's so important. And with all these things coming down the pipe, like here in San Diego, they are really pushing for a bunch of officials are wearing masks. They are pushing the new vaccines because of the variant, saying these other ones don't work and all of this. And I would like to know what your thoughts are on what's going on around us. I'd like to start with before now. And what do you think caused the pandemic, the COVID pandemic in 2020, 2021?
Let's define, I think we need to take one level back.
Okay.
Is to recognize that those in power, because of the fact that there's a video I did you may have seen called The Swarm, which really defines who the establishment is. It gives a little more sophisticated definition, really providing people the idea to understand that those in power are not centralized in any one particular location and not any one race, not any one geography. They don't speak any one language. If anything, they're telepathic, they're decentralized, they're multiracial, aristocracy of all different colors. So once that's understood, we need to recognize what is their motive for existence. Their motive for existence is to maximize for themselves and their community power, profit, and control, right? They're trying to optimize that. So more power, more profit, more control. So that's what they're trying to do every microsecond, every quarter, every day, every year, right? So in order for them to do that, if you follow the logical steps, a small set of people distributed, they want to maximize these 3 variables: profit, profitability, more control, more power. So in order for them to achieve that growth in each of those areas, either they seize an opportunity that they can control or they create an opportunity that they can control, okay? It's the teacher who's coming up with the exam also taking the exam, right? It's always rigged in their favor.
Right.
And between the time they take the exam and they pass it, they can do all sorts of theatrics to make it appear to everyone else in the classroom as though they're just part of the classroom, right? That they're not the ones rigging the whole thing. We need to understand that this is a dynamic because they're trying to maximize power off control. And they have large control of these systems. So there's a systems dynamic taking place. And so they have the ability, what I've been organizing and educating people on is the notion of system science. The elites understand system science. There's 9 principles. The elites know the system science. In fact, they create the features of system science. George Soros is one of the theoreticians of system science. And you're trying to achieve your goal, which is more power, more profit, more control. So in order to optimize their goal and achieve their goal, they have the ability to put control inputs into the system. Just like if you wanted to be healthy, you would control the amount of exercise, the amount of food, what kinds of foods you take to achieve some weight.
Right.
So they have the ability to control the inputs into this environment, right? So one of those inputs are crises. They can create crises, which lead to 3 important things for everyone else: fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Now, fear, uncertainty, and doubt are very powerful outputs that come out of the inputs they put in. So if they create a pandemic, it will lead to more fear, more uncertainty, more doubt. And fear, uncertainty, and doubt are really the stepchildren of power, profit, control, okay? Right. So they have the ability to input things to create volatility, to create fear, to create uncertainty, to create doubt. And when they do that phenomenon, people will give up their control, their power, their profit, okay?
Right.
They'll give up their truth, their freedom, their health, right? Now, the inverse dynamic is we, as the 8 billion, should set our goal: truth, freedom, health, and to maximize that.
Yes.
We have to make a decision on what inputs we want to put into the system and who are the people who will manipulate us back to the force of power, profit, and control. So So when you consider the pandemic, it was created, okay? Whether it was real or not, whether the coronavirus exists or not, in some ways is immaterial.
Right.
The real issue is how it was employed, okay, to create fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Right.
Okay. And who were the people who commandeered this, who drove this? And you'll find out if you really do an honest analysis, there were two groups. One was the obvious people that you see as the scumbags, the Faucis, the WHO, the Gates,
Right.
people, which I was the first one to talk about in 2020, early.
Mm-hmm.
But the other side of it are the not so obvious establishment, like
Yeah.
Booby effing Kennedy, who promoted lockdowns while he was telling all these mothers he was fighting for them for medical freedom. He was actively promoting lockdowns. He was rationalizing it, saying that it would stop the spread of COVID and it would save the climate and the environment. That's him in 2020. It's out there, March 20th of 2020. Trump was promoting lockdowns. He may say he wasn't, but he was coordinating with the states. All the state governors were promoting them. Fauci was promoting them.
Yep.
And the output of that, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, was more power, profit, and control. 600 billionaires increased their profit by $2.3 trillion. All the big companies increased. Small businesses reduced. So the 8 billion of us lost the 0.1% increase. That's a wonderful example of how they employed the input of the pandemic to create fear, uncertainty, and doubt on the masses. And then we gave up our rights. We lost profit, right? But it's really important to understand there were two forces here. The obvious establishment, which I was critiquing, exposing, but I was also critiquing and exposing, which is a much harder job to do. People like Booby fucking Kennedy.
Yeah.
Who was taking advantage of the mothers who felt guilty that they vaccinated their kids and wanted to resolve their guilt, like by going to some Catholic priest, which was what Booby was. And like many of these Vatican priests, they took advantage of the people who came to confess to them. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. That's exactly what he is. Or Trump. Okay.
Right.
But people need to understand it's an amazing lesson. And the lesson to take from the pandemic is if you want to decide what kind of people do you want to lead, whether it be yourself or someone else, what did they do in March of 2020? It is really the litmus test. And people need to let go of all their emotions and all their lower chakra and their instinct, and they need to use their intuition.
That's
what
right.
did these people do in March of 2020? A egregious example of this is this brown nose, big pharma brown nose or Brahmin guy, Vivek the Snake. He
Oh my
at
gosh.
that time was making money promoting fake products for big pharma. He at that time was making money promoting a company which was going to track people. He was making money promoting vaccine mandates. And like a slimy slime ball, he thinks everyone will forget that.
They all do. They think, oh, forgive us, let go of it. It's been so much time, and it's not.
So I think the other lesson is this notion of forgiveness, right? If someone has murdered 50 people all their lives and they claim they've connected with Christ and redeemed themselves, there's no obligation we have to let them go and send, oh yeah, I'm embracing you. No, for another 50 years.
That's right.
Let's see what they do. And like, there has to be a difference between the guy who's lived a clean life and is a good human being. You can trust him for the next 50 years versus the guy who murdered people and abused people. It doesn't matter if he's come to some new revelation. You watch him. No different than an employee who steals from you and you give him a second chance. You watch him like a hawk for a year, 2 years before you regain trust. So people need to have this level of wisdom and not be willing to give up their own dignity because someone just says on trust. You don't have a history to trust that individual. So we need to be very practical and wise on this and have some common sense. So every one of these people on the debate stage, I think it's today or tomorrow, are all part of the organized crime family, every single one of them. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on the debate stage. And so I think the critical thing to understand is how do we prevent these things from occurring in the future? How do we prevent the next lockdown? How do we present the next manipulation? And the only way to do that is you must study history. And so everyone should say, let's go back to 2020. Look at all these people who claim to trust me. And you have to contrast those people's actions, their actual deeds, what they said at the right time and what they did to someone else, what they said at the right time. And you can, if you want to use me as a standard bearer, in 2020, we ran that hashtag Fire Fauci campaign. Not only that, we collected 120,000 signatures. We took those signatures in 2020, in May of 2020 to Trump, told him to get rid of Fauci. I wrote a letter to Trump. Marla Maples delivered it to him. Get rid of Fauci, gave him the knowledge as an experienced scientist, as a renowned guy in the immune system. And what did he choose to do? He chose to keep Fauci while claiming he wanted to drain the swamp. If there was no swamp creature in that White House, it was Fauci. So Trump didn't do anything. Then he actually made himself and others, help others make a lot of money off promoting big pharma. Pfizer was down to 45 billion in revenue from 65 billion. He made sure they got a nice V, in fact, a nice steep slope going up. So So any Trumper who thinks Trump is fighting for them, I might as well go become a member of a cult because you're a fucking idiot. So getting back to the question, how do you stop these lockdowns in the future? So the first is we need to have a movement, a global movement. And that's what we've created with Truth, Freedom, Health. In 2020, before the censors caught up with me, we got our message out to how do you solve a real problem? How do you call out these people way ahead? We taught people the science of systems. We taught people how to take care of their health. We saved tens of millions of people's lives with our protocol with supporting vitamin D and quercetin, all that stuff. We didn't make a penny off of it. Zelenko took our stuff and he packaged it, right? Alex Jones was making money off of it. And if you talk to David Knight, will tell you Alex Jones hates Trump, but he promotes him. He just endorsed him because he wants to change. He wants those Trump MAGA cult people to buy his products. So that means he's totally out of integrity, right? So people need to look at what happened in 2020, step one, and understand who will you listen to in the future. If you're going to listen to Trump when he suddenly does a video 2 weeks ago, says, we will not comply. When I get in office, I'm going to get rid of the mask mandates and vaccine mandates. When he just said 6 months ago, he couldn't do anything because it was all up to the states. So people have to ask, look at people who flip-flop, whose words don't match their deeds. And so that's the way of the people who you do not follow. So first of all, if you want to keep following those people, then you get what you deserve. And you're the woke left and the woke conservatives are one and the same. They're the same. Now, the good news is 70% of people are dark matter. They haven't taken sides. They know the system is effed up and they want to build a completely different way of looking at this, right? They're desperate for real answers. And those people are coming in millions and tens of millions to our movement now because those people are recognizing, wait a minute, this guy and his movement did the right thing in 2020. They're the ones that figured out the election system's integrity. They're the ones in 2020 discovered the fact that government has a backdoor portal into Twitter and they want a lawsuit. And then they also see at that same time, Tucker Carlson concealed it. Glenn Greenwald concealed it. All of these people are part of the intelligence agency network. They're not fighting for you. They may talk about the truth, but they always talk about the truth years later. When it's useless, they do it to aggrandize themselves, to act like they're exposing something, to act like they're quote unquote journalists, but it's all about them getting views and clicks and manipulating people. Tucker Carlson, Glenn Greenwald, all of these so-called grifters, all these doctors who are grifters, stayed silent in 2020. Then a year later, they start filing petitions. This guy, Jay Bhattacharya, in 2020 had written a paper promoting lockdowns, okay? And then after that, he asks, oh, I'm a professor at Stanford. I was abused. No, you weren't. Stanford is a center of the CIA. So you are now trying to take credit for something you actually promoted or that you're fighting against. So wonderful open psyop is taking place, particularly not of the obvious. Biden and Clinton's, that's easy. The real thing to understand is that how Booby fucking Kennedy is part of the swarm of the organized crime family, how Trump, how Vivek the Snake, how DeSantis, how all of them are fighting now tooth and nail for their existence because people are waking up to Truth, Freedom, Health. They're recognizing who the real leaders are. And this is very dangerous to them. So their only solution to this is to make me invisible. And that's what they're doing. So they can't even give any visibility. They don't even want to create controversy around me anymore because that creates visibility. So, but it's a good place to be because it's an opportunity because many people are watching this and they're realizing, and by the way, every Thursdays at 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. we have these open houses and people come, and the people who come are people of extraordinary insight from all different walks of life and all different statuses and wealth. It doesn't matter, but they're all recognizing that I really don't want to be fooled anymore. And they're overcoming Trump's bullshit. They're overcoming Booby's bullshit. They're overcoming Tulsi Gabbard's psychological operation, robotic nonsense that she exists. And one of those people who gets it is equivalent to an army of about 1 million people. They're awoken in a really deep way. So we're at a very exciting time because we are educating people on the system's dynamic of how they optimize power, profit, control, how they want to decay Truth, Freedom, Health, how we have to build a movement, but that movement cannot be built by top-down people because the top-down people are talking about movements. Their movements are sucker, believe me, and sucker you back into this swarm. One day you'll be in Bernie's camp and then Obama's, and Trump is your savior, then you'll jump over to Tulsi Gabbard, and you're just going to be like a political prostitute, jumping from bed to bed. But if you want to be grounded, you have to understand the science of systems. And then it's not just theory, you have to get on the ground. It's mind and hands. You have to get on the ground. You have to hand out a flyer. And we've also given people those opportunities. If they go to Shiva for president, if they're lazy, they can just get a bumper sticker. But when they put that bumper sticker on the back of their car, they're making a statement. I support this standard. A person's personal integrity and his public integrity matches. And I can take it to a next level. I can download a flyer, which educates them how the lifespan of the United States has been going down like this. And that has been caused by us making decisions based on being lazy, the lesser of two evils.
Right.
And when they understand that phenomenon, then they have to put a mirror up to their face. What am I going to do? And then we give them the solution in that flyer, right? First, here's the election process that's taking place. Forget about the end state of that election, but you have an opportunity to choose somebody who raises your standards. And then we give them the tools. We tell people to come to our open house. So now we've created a completely different parallel universe that they don't have to eat a McDonald's. They have to choose between a McDonald's burger and a Burger King burger. They're both, right?
Yeah.
Pepsi and Coke, right? They can really choose, do they really want really good water? Or do they really want nutritious food?
Yes.
They want to eat crap. When it's here, you can't say I didn't have access anymore.
Exactly.
So we have this very good opportunity to make the individual accountable. It's not really about these politicians. If I didn't run for office and our movement didn't exist, you could say, boo-hoo, they only have the Burger King and McDonald's. They don't have a real health restaurant over here, which is going to really get them strong and their bones strong and their mind strong. But they have that. So now you're an idiot if you choose that. You get
Yeah, it's like people always, I now don't have a choice. There's always a choice outside of the choice that they're giving you. It's almost like when they'll talk about you can either get a vaccine or a test, but there's a choice right there. And I'm like, no, how about neither? That's also a choice. So when you do know, you can't go to this other option and act like it's the only thing. It's good for us to provide all of these things for people, because I think that people need direction. We've been so used to having people direct us that they've become like they need someone to nudge them in a direction one way or the other. And either they're going to go towards the wrong direction if we don't provide them with a right one, because it's going to be easy, because people are lazy a lot of times and they don't want to step out into something as well alone. So I feel like when you give them something to see that's different, they don't feel like they have to create it on their own and like it's impossible to do. So I think it's really great what you're doing. And that is so important. It needs to be us to do the working. We pay attention to these people and act like we don't have control, but that's because you think you don't. They want you to make you think you don't have control so that you just go along to get along with whatever they say. And the more they see people standing up, it's contagious just as much as it is from being complacent. Like when people would take off a mask and they see that, people are like, oh my gosh, it empowers them. So when you can empower them instead of keep them subdued, it's amazing. And there's so many of us that we could change things in an instant if we all got active and did something to make the world a better place that's around us. So I wonder, the pandemic preparedness accord, treaty, whatever is coming down the pipe with the United Nations and the WHO, World Health Organization, because we know that the president and many other countries have signed on. What do you think that means for us moving forward into next year, into May?
You see, the thing is, we should never care what they do. It's irrelevant what they do, because they have a big whiteboard somewhere and they've already mapped out their project.
Right.
All they're doing, and anything between now and their execution of their project is all theater. It's all theatrics, trying to create their fake heroes, their fake martyrs, like this idiot Russell Brand. The guy was a vile scumbag from the beginning. The entertainment industry always finds vile scumbags, so they make money off those people and manipulating people. I am running for president. It's the first time people have had a chance for one of us. So if you go to Shiva #4 president.com.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah, take your time.
Oh my gosh.
If you want to here, is that easier?
Let's see. Shiva for president.com.
Yep. So if people go to shivaforpresident.com, a couple of things I want to point out here. So this is our official campaign website.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
People can go to the shop and get a simple bumper sticker if you click on the shop. And the reason the bumper sticker is valuable, the bumper sticker is really cool because if you're in the United States, you just put this on the back windshield. And by the way, anyone outside of the United States cannot. It's illegal. It's against FEC to buy anything from here. But if you go to vashiva.com, you can get the form version of it. I just want to let people know that bumper sticker is very powerful, because when you as an individual put that on the back of your back windshield, in the back of your car, 100,000 people will see it per day. Yeah. That's more views than you can get on social media. And that's why they don't want people going offline. We've also open sourced everything. So if you don't want to pay for it, you can't afford $5, you can download, you can print it. So this is a very important flyer. And if you zoom in a little bit on it, this flyer, everyone should download. You can print it in black and white. That red line is the life expectancy of the United States population. It's declining. It's been declining since 1980s, not just a vaccine. The gray line is the life expectancy of people all over the world. That too is going to start declining. Everyone follows America. And this has been going on since 1980. But you notice the title of the flyer says the lesser of two evils is killing your children. So for the last 60 to 70 years, your children's lifespan is going down. So if you keep voting for the lesser of two evils, okay, so this is going to become more and more prevalent. And this is because of the systems issue. It's not any one thing. The policies of the establishment of this organized crime group group has created this by design. The bottom left of that flyer, if you scroll down, Audra has a swarm video, which everyone can see. So the left side is the problem. The right side is the solution. We have a video on top, which is my campaign video. And the bottom right is an invitation to come to our open houses every Thursday, 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. every Thursdays. And we have people from all over the world, and we actually take a problem. We give you a solution. Here's a solution to healthcare. Here's a solution to the environment. Solutions you can do right now. You don't have to wait for the government. After I get elected president, I'm going to do this bullshit. They're not going to do anything. Come on.
Right.
You will do nothing. Government will do nothing for you except enslave you. If I become president, I know it's all going to be corrupt. I have no illusions, but I will use a bully pulpit of the presidency to do an interview no different than I'm doing with you right now, Audra, but we'll reach 8 billion people, right?
That's right. That's
they
right.
may even shadow ban us, okay? But that's what it's about. It's about mobilizing a movement. So if you go back, so that's shivaforpresident.com. Get the flyer, get the bumper sticker. And by the way, if you donate, I give you stuff. I don't ask for money. If you want to, out of the kindness of your heart, if you have a lot of money, great, donate a lot of money because we're doing the right thing. But if you donate stuff, I give you books. We give you education and knowledge because, on the presidential campaign, we have to get on the ballot. Us getting on the ballot itself is a big blow to the establishment. And it's a matter of collecting signatures. So that, again, gives people an opportunity to do something on the ground.
Absolutely.
So the future is really offline. So connect with people, talk to some amazing people in San Diego.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'll reach out. So, oh my gosh, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence and just knowledge and answers and solutions, because I feel like nobody's offering that. And so I'm just like really empowered by having you here and having you share. And I look forward to speaking with you again in the future, maybe when you're president, right?
Great. Thank you. Be well.
Thank you so much. Yeah, God bless you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Join me next time where I bring you more truth, love, light, and all of the good things. God bless you guys. So much love.
Be well.